All right, let's be real for a second. Talking about salary, whether it's your very first job or you're moving up the ladder, it can be kind of nerve-wracking.
It really can be. It's like, what do you say? How do you say it?
Exactly. And we all have to have these conversations, right? So today we're going to give you some actual specific things to try, to help you feel more confident going into these salary talks.
Yeah, forget the vague advice. We're all about actionable strategies, things you can use right away.
Love it.
We'll be hitting those essential words you need to know. Useful phrases to try out. How to make requests that actually land. And of course, we'll tackle how to handle the what are your salary expectations question. Ready to jump in?
I'm ready. Let's do it. Where do we start?
Well, let's set the stage first. Like, what are the key terms?
Okay, key terms.
Yeah, because you're going to hear these pop up over and over again. So
Okay.
first up, salary range.
Salary range. Okay. What's that all about?
This is like the company's playing field for the role. It's the low end, the minimum they might offer, to the high end, the max they're willing to go.
So it gives you the boundaries.
Exactly. Helps you figure out where you might fit in. Then there's compensation, which is bigger than just salary.
Right. It's the whole package.
The whole shebang. It's the
Okay.
total value of what you get for your work. So yeah, base salary is there, but it also means potential bonuses, like rewards for crushing it, and then benefits.
Benefits. People kind of skim over those sometimes, don't they?
They do, but benefits are a big deal.
Okay, so remind us, what kinds of things are we talking about with benefits?
Oh, so many things. Health insurance, definitely. Super important for those medical costs. And paid time off, vacation days, sick leave, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes even further. Retirement contributions, life insurance, maybe professional development stuff, or even perks like a gym membership or help with commuting.
Wow, so much to think about.
Right. So don't just get stuck on that salary number. Look at the whole package, the benefits too.
You got it. Okay, so we have salary range, compensation, benefits. What other words should we know?
Well, there's negotiation. Really it just means, a conversation where you're trying to reach an agreement, like about the terms of employment, and salary is part of that.
And that brings us to counteroffer.
Right. That's your chance to say, okay, I'm interested, but here's what would make this even better.
So you're coming back with your own proposal, maybe asking for more or different benefits?
You got it. And then lastly, market value.
That's basically knowing your worth, right? Like what your skills are worth in your industry and area.
Absolutely. It's researching what other companies pay for similar jobs with similar experience levels. This helps you walk into a negotiation knowing your stuff.
Knowledge is power.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got our vocabulary down. What about actual phrases we can use? Let's get practical.
All right, let's talk phrases. When you're ready to say what you want your salary to be, try this. Based on my experience, I believe a salary in the range of your lower number to your higher number is appropriate.
Okay, so you're giving a range instead of just one number. Why is that?
It's strategic. It tells them what you're thinking, but gives you some wiggle room. It doesn't sound as harsh.
I see. And what if they come back with an offer below that range? How do you bring up getting a higher number?
Well, you could try this. Thank you for the offer. I'm very interested in this opportunity. But would you be open to discussing the compensation a little further?
Okay, so you're starting positive, excited about the job, but you're leaving the door open to talk money.
You got it.
Nice. Now, what if you want to just straight up ask if they're flexible on the offer?
You can just ask. Be polite, but be direct. Say, to what extent is this offer flexible?
Okay, so that gets right to the point. What if you're pumped about the job, but the money just isn't quite what you were hoping for?
You could say, I'm really excited about this role and the opportunity, however. Based on my research and experience, I was expecting something closer to your number.
So you're balancing your enthusiasm with, hey, let's talk about this.
Yes, and you're backing it up with your research, showing you've done your homework.
That makes sense. Okay, this is good stuff. Can we try like a real job offer scenario and use some of these phrases?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's say the interviewer says, we'd like to offer you a starting salary of $50,000 annually. What would you say?
Okay, let me think. Deep breaths. I might say, thank you so much for the offer. I'm really excited about this opportunity and what I can bring to the team. But based on my skills and what similar roles are paying right now, I was expecting a salary between $55,000 and $60,000. To what extent is this offer flexible?
Perfect. That's a really good response. You showed gratitude, you're enthusiastic, and you stated your expectations clearly.
I like it.
And let's say they come back with, okay, that's helpful to know. Let me chat with HR and see what we can do.
Sounds promising.
Right. It's a good sign. And this is why we practice these things.
Yeah, why is practicing so important? I mean, it seems kind of silly to practice a conversation.
Not silly at all. When you rehearse these little exchanges, you get comfortable with the words, your tone, the flow.
So it's not as scary in the moment.
Exactly. Like practicing a presentation,
Yeah.
The more you do it, the smoother it gets.
That makes sense. Earlier, we talked about being polite. How can we make sure we're negotiating respectfully?
It's all about the grammar. One thing you can do is use the phrase, would it be possible to, and then your request. For example, would it be possible to discuss the benefits package in more detail?
It sounds a lot nicer than just saying, tell me about the benefits. What are some other ways to ask politely?
Another good one is, I would appreciate it if we could. Like, I would appreciate it if we could explore a slightly higher starting salary. Sounds less demanding.
Way less demanding.
Right. And you could also use, if you could consider, for example, if you could consider a starting salary closer to the midpoint of my range, I think that would be fair, given my qualifications.
Okay, those are great tips for keeping things friendly but still getting your point across.
Exactly.
Now for the dreaded question. What are your salary expectations? I think everyone hates that question.
It's a tough one, for sure. But very common, so you got to have an answer ready.
Okay, how should we answer it?
One good approach is giving a range, like, based on my research for similar jobs in this area and my experience, I'm looking for something between $60,000 and $65,000.
The range strikes again.
It's a safe bet, gives you room to move. What if you're not ready to give a number yet, though?
What do you say then?
You could say something like, that's a great question. To give you a good answer, I'd like to understand the responsibilities and the day-to-day of the role a little better.
Makes you sound thoughtful and you get more info before committing to a number.
Exactly. It shows you're thinking about the whole picture. What you don't want to do is,
Give a vague answer.
right, like whatever you think is fair, or I'm just happy to have the job.
I feel like I've heard those before.
I bet. But it doesn't really tell them anything. Kind of makes it seem like you didn't do your research or you're not confident.
Right, you gotta know your worth.
For sure.
Okay, beyond specific phrases, are there general things to remember when you're negotiating?
Absolutely. Always be professional, even if you don't love the offer. Remember, you're trying to build a good relationship.
It's not a fight.
Right. And focus on your value, what you bring to the table. Really spell out your skills, your experience, how you'll help them succeed.
Make them see why you're worth it.
Yeah. Be ready for them to say no, too. You won't get everything you ask for.
Yeah.
So know your priorities. What are you willing to be flexible on? And don't feel rushed to answer right away. It's okay to say, thank you, I'd like a day or two to think it over.
Oh, that's a good one. I feel like the pressure is on to say yes right away.
I know. But it's perfectly fine to take your time.
Okay, let's practice some more. You ready?
Let's do it. Pop quiz time. I'm going to give you a scenario, and you try responding out loud. Okay, here we go.
Oh,
We're thrilled to offer you a starting salary of $48,000 a year. How does that sound to you? What would you say?
okay. I'd probably say, I'm really excited about this opportunity and I appreciate the offer. However, based on my experience and research, I was hoping for a salary closer to $55,000. Would you be open to discussing that further?
Nailed it. You see, even a quick practice run can help you feel more prepared.
For sure. Okay, give me another one.
All right, how about this? We don't typically negotiate the benefits package, but is there anything specific you were hoping for?
That's tricky. Well, I'd say I understand. I was particularly interested in learning more about the professional development opportunities and whether there's any flexibility with vacation time.
That's great. You stayed positive, asked about your specific priorities, and left room for them to respond.
I'm getting the hang of this.
You are. And speaking of skills, remember that active listening is key.
Listening. Yeah, that's hard sometimes. How can we get better at listening, especially during these salary conversations?
Really focus on what they're saying. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Pay attention to their tone, what words they emphasize, any concerns they bring up.
Be present.
Yes. And maybe jot down some notes to help you remember. Don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions either.
So if something about the salary or benefits isn't clear.
Exactly. It's okay to say, could you explain what's included in the health insurance? Or when you say bonuses, what kind of performance metrics are you talking about?
That makes sense. Now, I think a lot of people are worried about Messing up during negotiation, like saying the wrong thing.
It's a normal fear. But honestly, it's okay if things aren't perfect. You might stumble over your words, forget a phrase. It happens. The important thing is that you try.
Don't let fear hold you back.
Exactly. And every time you do it, you learn something. Even if you think, ugh, I should have said that differently, well, now you know for next time.
Practice makes progress.
You got it. Now let's do a quick recap of those key phrases.
Yes, please.
Okay, here are a few to remember. Would you be open to discussing the compensation? To what extent is this offer flexible? Based on my research and experience, I was expecting something in the range of, can we talk more about the total compensation package? Brent, I'm really interested in this opportunity, however. And then your point.
Okay, those are good ones.
Try to remember 2 of them right now without looking, just to test yourself.
All right. To what extent is this offer flexible? And based on my research and experience, I was expecting something in the range of. Got it.
Awesome. See, that little memory test helps. As we wrap up, let's give everyone a few last tips for salary negotiation success.
What are your top pieces of advice?
Number 1, research, research, research. Know what similar jobs are paying in your area before you even start talking.
Do your homework.
Yes. And be polite, of course, but also be confident in yourself and what you're worth.
Be polite but firm.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about the money, it's about the value you bring. Really sell your skills and experience. Show them why they need you.
I like it. What else?
Last but not least, practice. Practice out loud. Grab a friend, a mentor, even use online tools or AI to simulate the conversation. The more you do it, the more natural it will become.
It's all about that practice. All right, so now you have some practical phrases, some strategies, and hopefully a little more confidence to go out there and rock those salary negotiations.
That's what we want. As you get ready for your next salary talk, think about this. How are you going to show your value to a potential employer? Use the tools we've talked about today to get the compensation you deserve.
Awesome advice. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
And to all our listeners, good luck out there. We're rooting for you.